How you doing, man?
Doing great. Thank you.
Training camp for you, and that's feel a little odd that it's almost coming to an end here.
Yeah, no, time passes really fast as you get older. It's crazy to think, I came here in January of 2016. Time's almost done. But yeah, no, it's been one hell of a ride. And we got a good group of guys now, so really excited for the season.
You're kind of a known quantity. Everybody knows that you're a really good kicker. How much confidence does that give you to just go into your final season, just do what you do, keep it going, and finish strong?
Well, I think last year did a lot of positive things for me as a kicker, even though the percentage was down. I think the situations we were put in terms of, the kicks with the penalties, being pushed back. My first 2 seasons, I didn't really have that many long field goal range attempts. So last year was kind of cool to see, how I would react in those situations. And even though I didn't make all of those, I think that I was pretty calm in those situations and I trusted my stroke. So it's just good to get out there and get those reps, get that experience from far away, from the close kicks, the pressure situations. So after 3 seasons, I've pretty much seen a lot of different kind of elements and different situations. So there's for sure a lot more confidence heading into this season.
We've seen Wade Lee's hold for you, and then also Matt Lynch said he wasn't going to hold for you, but then we've seen him hold for you as well. How's that going to work?
Yeah, so Matt is the backup now, and basically the reasoning behind having Wade as my holder was we can work together throughout practice. So we're going to build that continuity. I'm good with both, and it's pretty crazy because I've had a different holder all 4 years now. So first year was Mike Faithful with Adam Searle, second year was Stefan, third last year was Matt Lynch, now it's going to be Wade. So it's pretty cool, having to adjust to each guy. And but no, Johnny's doing a great job. Wade's a chill dude from Australia, so it kind of eases me down.
Yeah, what's it like having a 31-year-old?
Oh, it's awesome. No, I love Wade. He's not like a father figure, but almost like a big brother to us. So he's the 31-year-old, just joking around. But we're having a great time. Even though we're working, it's still super enjoyable to be around those groups.
With the success you've already had, what kind of personal goals are there for you to set this year?
Oh yeah, no. I think as a kicker, it's very dangerous to kind of get caught up in the future, right? You want to stay grounded and treat each day like it's game day. So in terms of the way I approach kicking is to kind of replicate my game days each day at practice. So my warm-up's going to be the same. That mentality you have approaching the quick kicks we do at the start of practice or the team reps, you really want to have that kind of same mentality. So as a kicker, it's about trusting the process, focusing on each kick, and the awards will take care of themselves if you kick the ball through the net. But the first thing is to kick the ball. So awards come after.
We had fun with this when you were a freshman, but are you now of legal age to drink Molson's?
I'm 22. It's pretty funny because a little thing with Wade that every time he gives me a good hold or we'll make a big kick, I'll give him a 6-pack of Molson.
Really?
No, I'm just joking. Just kind of like a little incentive for him.
All right. Now you can throw back with the coaches too, right?
No. After I graduate, maybe, but now we're locked into the season.
Where do you think you are in your adjustment with Wade as a holder? Are you there yet, do you think?
Oh yeah. No, we're hitting them pretty well in practice, and yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. It doesn't really change as a holder. You just got to trust your steps and trust that the ball is going to be down there. Because if you think about who's behind holding the ball or who's snapping the ball, then there's just way too many things that you're thinking about. So you just want to eliminate different distractions or elements that you think of and just focus on the steps and swinging it.
Not to make you dwell on it, but is there a difference in timing with all those? You've had 4 holders.
Yeah, no, there is for sure. You have to adjust in terms of the count too. Like now we're kind of doing the same thing with what we did last year, but the first 2 years I was starting my steps kind of at a different pace than I am now.
In what ways do you think you're different now as the senior version of yourself versus the freshman version that came in?
Yeah, I think a lot more I think a lot more maturity, experience, but I think as a senior, even though I'm a kicker, you kind of hear those things, oh, well, a kicker's not really a leader. I think for me, one of the things I wanted to focus on this year was kind of pushing our culture and setting the standard. And even though I'm a kicker, if we're running around, kind of lead by example and see and show the young guys like, okay, this is what the older guys are doing. And you got kids like Darnay Holmes, Chris Barnes, and being around those guys just pushes you even more, because those guys are chasing excellence every day, and you kind of try and emulate and replicate their work ethic and kind of their approach to their own crafts, and I kind of try and apply it to my kicking, but even power too. Like I've probably put on like 10 yards, I think, this offseason in terms of my kick. And I was speaking with Jeff, and he told me he made the biggest jump from his junior to senior year. So I was kind of expecting a similar type of thing. But that's all in due in part to our, working out with the guys, having them push me, and also our strength staff. They're doing a great job. So it's all due to them that I've gotten this stronger.
So what's your comfort level distance-wise?
So now, like I'm good from 55 and in. Like I'm super comfortable with that. And then at the end of the game, I wouldn't be scared to hit a 60. So I'm hitting like 60, 65. I've been training from 65 and 50.
Wow.
Well, basically what that does as a kicker, it's the further you are away from the goalpost, it's training your mind and your awareness to become kind of comfortable and familiar with those long distances, and training your mind to kick the same stroke every time, right? Because a lot of times in games when you have those long attempts, you try and put a bit more into it. So training from further away, even though I can make them now, it's training my mind just to keep the same stroke, the same fluidity, and just hit it like an extra point.
UCLA's got a long history of great kickers, going all the way back to like John Lee and
Yes.
Jordan Merton. How much do you know about UCLA's legacy?
Oh
of
no,
kickers?
for sure. Kai Forbath, John Lee, Chris Saylor, all those guys before me. You want to kind of follow in their steps. The great thing about football is it's not about yourself. You're representing UCLA. You're representing the kids before you. You're working out for the kid next to you. So, obviously you're in a position where there's a great legacy of kickers. It pushes you to be the best version of yourself, to kind of match their performance, right? And the bricks they laid down for us.
How are we? I've heard you've been
doing?
requesting me. So
Yeah.
I'm finally
We've been
here.
waiting
Your number
a long
one
time.
request.
I know.
We're
Every
really
time
excited.
after practice, they're like, oh, they've been asking about you. So
Yeah.
finally here.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's it like to be here?
Awesome. Who couldn't complain about sunny Southern California? So a bit different to Maryland. Obviously, I'm from Melbourne, Australia, so used to the sun and the beaches and stuff. So Caitlin and I, my wife, we like it a lot better over here, just lifestyle and whatnot. So yeah, just acclimated pretty well, and yeah, loving it.
What brought you to UCLA for your final college season?
So I sort of summed up at the end of my Maryland season with the coaching staff change and whatnot. I was always going to be going into a new bunch of coaches and that. I wasn't even sure if there was even a spot here at UCLA. So Caitlin and I discussed it. I went home over Christmas and I said, I'm going to try and get to LA. So USC already have an Australian punter, Benny Griffiths, so I knew that spot wasn't available. So we reached out to UCLA, and Flintoff from last year, he obviously graduated and saw if there was a spot, and so there was one open. Obviously there was no senior or experienced punter. Also, Caitlin and I, we weren't going to live in Maryland after I was done, so it was a better transition if we were going to go home from here, or so I actually want to stay here. So, and I think she's more inclined to go back home. So at least if we're close to the home, I can sort of persuade her to stay here for a little bit longer. So, so there was a bit of thought process and strategy behind that. So,
How's that working? Are you convincing her maybe?
yeah, no. So she loves it out here. So, so we head down to the beach. Just bought a surfboard. So, getting smashed a few times, but enjoying the lifestyle and getting down to Venice and Manhattan Beach to go for a surf. So,
She's from Melbourne
Maybe
too.
she's leaning towards staying a little bit.
yeah, fingers crossed. So haven't obviously had that conversation. So yeah, I'm trying to persuade her with every ounce of my being that I can. So even a couple of extra years, but let's just see. I'm sure if hopefully if I can make my way onto a roster with that paycheck, I'm sure she'll be inclined to stay. So let's just see what happens. But I just think like with the opportunities that UCLA can provide with their alumni and boosters, just with the employment opportunities here, with entertainment and that, it's just far greater than what I had at Maryland. Just this is like the mecca for everything here, and it's only one flight from home. It's 14 hours rather than a 25-hour flight. So I think it's just a little bit better logistically for us. So
What are you studying here?
So I'm studying education, so coaching and teaching. So I got my undergraduate in communications at Maryland, and then I've just graduated my master's in business and management there as well. So I'm looking to get my second master's here at UCLA, and obviously that master's here is valuable. So that's what I'm looking to acquire as well. So that was a big part of the transition here as well.
How is it being around so many younger guys? A lot of these guys are 10 years younger. You're 31?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, it's cool. So obviously I'm pretty young and immature at times myself, so they keep me young. I joke around and play games. I probably act like I'm 18 sometimes as well. But when we play Australian football, so when we turn professional back home, we're actually straight out of high school, so 17 turning 18. So when I turned pro back home, I was playing with like 37, 38-year-olds. So for me, it's normal. For these guys, I understand it's a bit, like culturally, it's a little bit different, but for me, it's cool. Obviously, I've had experience traveling, played a pro sport back home before, being at Maryland, had a lot of experience. So I can shed that off onto these younger guys, and especially these younger punters like Colin and Carson. So just with my experience, I'm always trying to help them out, because the better they become, it's going to push me to become better as well. So if I've got better competition, it's going to entice me to become greater as well. So
how does Aussie rules translate to American football?
Australian football is just all kicking pretty much. So you can hand pass, which is essentially somewhat a throw. So it's just all hand to foot. So most Australians, I just see there's, I think it's like 50 odd in Div 1 college football. There's about 7 in the NFL now. It's just hand-eye coordination, hand to foot since we're about 4 or 5, ever since we can walk. So obviously punting is just hand to foot. So we can, this roll-out rugby stuff, we can do it with our eyes closed. So that's no issue. So it's a transition into the whole spiral aspect of it. Is sort of the complicated part, but it's not too complicated. It's just kicking a ball in the long run, which is essentially like how you guys grow up, just throwing a baseball, throwing an NFL ball. Yeah, so it's pretty easy.
JJ says he's got some incentives for you for doing some good bowling. How does that make you feel?
What do you mean by that? Sorry, I don't know.
Molson.
Six-pack.
It wasn't Foster's, it was Molson.
No, I don't drink Foster's, but yeah, no, the Molsons don't go down too bad, but I'm not sure if I really could disclose too much about that one.
Do we know, are you the second oldest player in college football? The guy at Colorado's older, I believe.
Yeah, so actually Jimmy's like one of my good friends, the kicker, so he's Australian as well, so he's a beast. So yeah, I think he might be 32, yeah. So yeah, I'm second oldest, and I'll gladly leave that record to him, so I'll keep my name out of the record books.
Now you've got a lot of artwork on. You thinking about doing anything dedicated to your time at UCLA or your life here in LA? Got a lot of artwork.
No, yeah, I only just got this recently, so when was it? I think it was in my idle time when I was at Maryland just studying. Obviously wasn't working out and that, and just got a bit bored, so no, it was either an arm sleeve or leg sleeve. I thought the leg sleeve was better because I could cover it up if I went for a job interview. So, yeah, there was a bit of strategy about that. But no, there's nothing really more on the horizon. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to wait and see. Can't really do much on the scholarship check, so I'll wait until I get a job.
So with Aussie football, I mean, obviously, it could lend yourself to tackling here. How many did you get in on some tackles in Maryland?
Yeah, made 2. So I don't pride myself on making a tackle because there's obviously a bad punt or the coverage is bad, but if someone's coming down, yeah, I certainly won't shy away from making a hit for sure.
And how much do they want to integrate rugby style now this year with you?
I'm not too sure. I think it just depends on the look. So it just depends on what's happening from game to game. We're just going to obviously just watch film the game before, see what they're doing, if they're rushing or sort of what aspects they're doing. So I just say it's week to week, so I'm not too sure at the moment.
So you're left-footed, but you can punt with either foot, right?
I am left-footed. Yeah, I can. I haven't told the coaches that yet because I did it at Maryland and they were making me roll out on my right foot. So it's not really much of an average helper for me, so I just steer clear to that one. But yeah, I can punt both feet.
You just got married this summer?
Yeah, so in Hawaii. So went down there. So I literally got here. It was early. Man, I can't even know the months now. I think it was. Do you remember when I got here? It was
July 12th.
yeah. It was early July, and then I was here for about 2 weeks, and then took off to Hawaii for about a week and a half, and then come back and got straight into it. So it was good. It was an exciting time. Obviously had all the family and friends there, so only get to see them once or twice a year. So it was good to especially see them before the season starts and sort of interact with them.
So no honeymoon then? This
It was sort of on the back end of it, but I actually cut the time period short because I felt so bad that I was being away from workouts that I changed the flights without Caitlin knowing and booked us to come back 3 days earlier. So luckily she was understanding, but I promised her a trip to Mexico or something at the end of the year. So I have to deliver on that, otherwise I might be in the doghouse for a bit. So,
So going into your last year, how's it been? How's this whole experience been at UCLA? And feel kind of fast, like it happened fast?
Absolutely feels fast. We've gotten that talk ever since high school, that this experience with football and going to college, going to high school, these 4 years, they fly by. It applies both ways. It's been very bittersweet, this being my last year. I'm really excited. I think we're going to have a great group of guys who make great strides and great progress for the university. I'm just happy to be a part of this transition with Coach Kelly.
When you were in high school and people told you that college would be fast, did you believe them?
No, not at all.
What's it like been going through this college career with JJ the whole time?
I've been lucky. I've been very lucky to have a very stable group of specialists. Came in with JJ, even came in with Kobe Walsh, the backup snapper. It's been a group of guys that we've been together since day one. We compete together every day. It's been really nice having that consistency.
What have you done to improve your snapping over the 4 years? Have you gotten the snap shorter, quicker? What have you done?
Just working on a lot of form. Like I said, having Kobe Walsh here, he pretty much drives me to be better. We always compete with each other. And just having someone to consistently work with and work on form, talk about things. And while the team's working together, we're on the side doing our own thing.
Now you've been nicked up, having little injuries over this career. At this point, how are you?
Feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
At this point, just feeling like an old man. You guys may talk about Wade and his age, but don't get it wrong. I'm the old guy of the group. I had the best dad hair. So.
How would you kind of assess the performance of the special teams from last year, and what kind of is it?
Making great strides. I think Coach Sage has done a great job in implementing a correct scheme and getting guys in positions where we're going to succeed. I think the specialists have been stepping up into their roles. We're seeing a lot more depth, not only at specialist positions, but on special teams. I think that's really helping guys.
What do you think you've improved on the most in the special teams from a year ago?
Just mindset coming into it. We know that special teams is 1/3 of the game, and we're really going to treat it like that. So we're taking a lot of times in meetings to emphasize things, emphasize drill work, emphasize film. If a guy makes a mistake, we're going to point it out, we're going to correct it. Coach Kelly going into meetings, he was talking about, we have the system where we get green circles, that's good. And before, it used to be red boxes were bad. We changed bad to learning. So we're really focusing on trying to learn as much as possible from our mistakes.
So there was a real recognition to improve on special teams from last year. That was a mandate here, you would say?
I would say so, but I would say just improve across the board. That's been our whole thing. Is that we came out 3-9 last year, and the good thing is that was last year. We're going into the 2019 season, so we're able to start fresh and just make strides from where we first came in.
But Johnny, you tend to get downfield quite a bit, looking for that tackle.
Yes,
they're okay with it? They're not thinking about you getting injured when you're going down there?
No. I like to think I'm a little bit bigger than I am, but they want me to get downfield. They want me to be a presence, and whatever I can do to help out my teammates. Pulling a guy off onto me, having them not double team per se, like a linebacker who's blocking off punt. In my mind, that's a win. So, however I'm able to help this team, I'm going to try and do it.
How many tackles do you have in your career?
That's a tough question. I'd probably say around 4, and then I have 2 recovered fumbles and 1 forced fumble.
I think you knew.
Well, the tackles I'm not too sure about. The fumbles, those are probably my 3 favorite
You
plays.
should look up the stats for long snappers at UCLA. It could be a record.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
What do you think Coach Sage brings to that special teams coordinator position?
Energy and focus. We start every meeting. He goes, 1 clap ready, and if the energy's not there, if the guys aren't in sync together, he'll start it over. And so he wants guys to be focused and dialed in, and we've done a really good job of making sure everybody's aware and focused within meetings.
How does this camp improve this camp?
The energy, just coming in here previous camps, we've seen a lot of guys go, oh, man, we got practice today, we're full pass today. It hasn't been like that here. It's been guys are excited to come out, put the pads back on. There's a lot more energy coming back out to the field. That's really exciting to see.
You mentioned Kobe Walsh. What has he been in the group as a long snapper, pushing you, being a walk-on, and how far has he come?
Oh, he's come miles. He had a experience his, I believe, freshman year in high school where he broke his wrist, he gained a lot of weight, and so he's been able to slim back down, get into a healthy and fit shape. And what Kobe's been able to bring is just a lot of juice to a special teams group. He's been fantastic to have in meeting rooms. He's always supporting guys. He's always pushing everybody.